for the solutions, let's deal with the US first. The protectionist mindset is the largest problem with pressures to tax imports from Canada. To solve this issue, the most extreme solution would be to continue with free trade until the US industries start feeling a major fall in their revenues. As for the CETA agreement, the EU is also proposing for it to be signed with the US along with Canada, which is causing much controversy due to issues such as those mentioned by France. Once again, to avoid such issues, an agreement can be signed for taxes paid by the US. Another possible solution could be to simply avoid signing a permanent deal and continue with the current state of trade the EU and the US have at the moment. The final issue we have today is that the Somali refugees that have taken shelter within the neighboring country of Kenya are now being repatriated involuntarily. The world's largest refugee camp in Dadaab, which has hosted Somali refugees for a quarter of a century, is set to be closed and shut down by the Kenyan government, and they wish to return the Somalis before it happens. Unfortunately, the repatriation does not seem to meet international standards. This is because Somalia is not yet a safe place for the refugees to return, as the reason for their taking of refuge is still present. Yet the Kenyan president is determined on repatriation. This issue relates to international law because it deals with refugees and their basic rights. Now, this case is arguably the most fragile of the four, and so its solutions are also the most fragile. Nevertheless, the most basic method of solving this issue is waiting until Somalia is safer than what it currently is, before repatriation of the refugees. Yet, despite efforts from the UN, the President of the United States, and the President of Somalia, the Kenyan government is determined to close down the refugee camp due to its insecurity and environmental degradation. Hence, the next solution would be to solve the issues of insecurity and environmental degradation by perhaps asking the world for help. For the insecurity, Kenya can ask the UN for aid and reinforcements to protect the refugees. As for the environmental degradations, the Kenyan government can start establishing strict rules to protect the environment, not just for the refugees but for the country's own sake. To conclude, I would like to thank everyone for joining me in analyzing these four cases. Through this analysis, we've learned just how vital and effective international laws and treaties can be in our world.
Created using Powtoon.